You get onto nofap, you stop fapping, you start journaling, you do all these things, right? And it just resets. You lose the consistency. Where does it reset to and why does it keep resetting? You do all these good habits and it keeps resetting. Why? We can go and meditate. We can go and say that we're doing No Nut November. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna work this year, guys. And it just keeps resetting because this is our baseline. This is the thing that we need to focus on. What is this? This is your identity. This is how you see yourself. This is the beliefs that you have about yourself. I promise you that this may be some of the most important things that I ever say to you with the 700 videos that I've recorded. Please believe me, if you want the shortcut to self-improvement, if you want the shortcut to consistency in the good habits and the shortcut to consistently not doing the bad habits, it's updating this, your identity and your beliefs about yourself. Because what's happening is that this stays the same, right? You still think of yourself as the same guy, and yet you watch a nofap video, and you know, on day 90 of nofap, you'll start levitating, and girls will hold eye contact with you. Wow, woman attraction. So you get onto nofap. This hasn't changed. Your identity hasn't changed. You don't change how you see yourself. But yeah, I'll try nofap. Oh, day 3, back to here. Day 4, back to here. Day 1, back to here. Day 0, relapse 7 times. Day 7, back to, just keeps coming back here. That's because you have the identity of a wanker. And I don't say that as an insult. You have the identity of a fapper. You have the beliefs that you are a fapper. You are a guy who is struggling with fapping, and so you will stay there. You must understand that what you believe about yourself, the way that you see yourself, the identity that you hold, will always reign power over the real world changes that you make, like just trying out the new diet. You want to know the best way to be on a diet for the rest of your life? See yourself as an athlete. You change this identity. I used to literally sit there with snacks all around me and literally burst into fucking tears as a grown man. Because the one thing I had going for me like a few years ago was like, yeah, I was kind of productive and I'd go to the gym. That was it. That was like the one thing I had for me was that the gym kept me fucking sane. And the physique that I had built from the gym was being ruined by my binge eating. And I tried so many different diets. I tried so many different ways to overcome it. It didn't work. Up until I simply just changed how I saw myself and my beliefs about myself. I stopped seeing myself as a binge eater and I started seeing myself as an athlete. As not only an athlete, but an intelligent athlete who was really clued up in nutritional data. Even in the cold, even in the rain, even in the snow, even in literally like little floods, bro. Like the park that I used to train at in COVID, you know, the lockdown, literally flooded one time and I was still training on this gymnastic rings. Like I'd attach like this kit, gymnastic rings to a tree branch and I'd literally just train there like a fucking animal, 7 days a week. I'd come back home and literally all I'd eat was vegetables and meat and like some oats. Healthy shit, and like I literally would spend my time literally looking at like nutritional lectures. Because just overnight, I convinced myself that I was now an intelligent athlete. Your identity and the beliefs that you have about yourself, perhaps the most important things, like, you know, what determine your life, they were not created by you. You did not create your own identity. You did not create the own beliefs in your mind about yourself. The identity that you have and the beliefs in your mind that you have about yourself were not created by you. They were created by the rest of society, by the script, the program, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. And we don't need to get like full Andrew Tate and, you know, like conspiracy theories. But the thing is, that's what conditioned you. The education system, media, movies, video games, anime, they chose your identity for you. Let's say you want to consistently get better with girls. Something that most young men struggle with, don't they? Well, you can do what every other young guy does and they never make progress. They'll go onto YouTube, how to text girls and stuff, right? They'll watch those videos and okay, it works for some guys and it doesn't work for other guys. Why? Because of your identity. You've had that identity built into you to be like very like soft around girls, to not be dominant, to not go after what you want, to not like try and actually attract the woman. You've been fed this fucking lie that you don't need sex and love in your life, and you've seen this like propaganda by these sigma male little crusty smelly guys who are like, oh, women are shit, like I don't, just focus on yourself, king. Either you've listened to that or you've listened to this blue pill propaganda that's made you believe that like, yeah, you know, you're the little skinny nerd and eventually you'll get the girl. Either way, your identity and your beliefs about yourself in relation to attracting women is totally wrong, and so you don't get it. But there is an identity that if you are willing to adopt, you go on to pretty much have no real issues with women after that. In fact, there is an identity that will lead to almost no issues with women, apart from one, which you may not believe, which sounds like really arrogant. The one issue that you'll have with women is that you'll get too many women that it'll actually become a problem, and then you'll start to realize that like sex and like this quick sort of hedonistic relationship was never actually what you desired in the first place. You will literally get to the point, if you adopt the right identity, which I'm about to tell you, you will literally get to the point where you'll have so many girls that you'll literally feel bad about fucking so many girls just because it's like, it starts to destroy your soul. Imagine that being the problem that you experience, that you're having too much sex. What kind of guy has too much sex? It's not the guy who just, how fast should I reply to a text messages? Okay, I'll go to the gym. Okay, I'll go to the gym. It's the guy who changes his identity to be desirable to girls. It's the guy who changes his identity from being just a normal guy who's kind of invisible to girls, who maybe get some level of attraction, to suddenly starting to think that he is the alpha male. It's the guy who changes his identity and his beliefs about himself and just convinces himself that he's actually desirable, that he's in the top 10% of men. He changes his identity and the rest of the world changes around him. You don't realize the power of this. Perhaps you're watching this right now in a sense of disbelief. Oh, this is just silly. Yeah, whatever. It's not really going to work, bro. You must understand. This is some of the most important words that I could be saying to you. It is so utterly important for you to change your beliefs about the world and about yourself. There should be no beliefs in your mind that do not serve you. One of the things that I love about Andrew Tate, he said this recently, that he only holds beliefs in his mind that makes him stronger. And he was almost baffled, why would people have beliefs about themselves that invoke more weakness? Why would someone sit there and say that they're depressed? It doesn't help them. Essentially just pretend it's not real, because then it's not holding you back. But when Tate talks about that, and he talks about, pretend depression's not real, so it's not going to hold you back, what is he talking about? Your identity, your beliefs. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't, only your mum will, and the rest of the world doesn't even either believe in you, or they want you to fail, or they don't even know you. And the power of belief is so fucking huge that if I told you about the real studies that have been conducted on literally just the power of belief, on the placebo effect, you would not even believe it. You would not even believe how powerful the power of belief actually is. You would literally think, nope, he's got to be lying, he's got to be exaggerating. The power of belief literally goes above real scientific data. It literally goes above the real world. With just the placebo effect, you know that, right? It's the power of belief, right? With just the placebo effect, we can cure your sickness. Think about it. You could be sick, and a doctor gives you some treatment and says this will help, and it helps. And the treatment was just a sugar pill. It was like a fake pill. It was literally just your belief that literally caused a sickness to go away. There's a groundbreaking study recently on the power of belief that showed that if you give participants 2 milkshakes, one is this indulgence, really high calorie, high fat, high sugar, and another one is this low calorie, healthy one. If you give them both milkshakes and they drink them, and you investigate what happens into their body, what happens to their hormones, their insulin and everything. They have the healthy one, which has got high protein, and you see the activation of muscle protein synthesis in their body. Their body's making muscle because they've drank a protein shake. They drink the high sugar, indulgence, high calorie shake, and you see that they've put on more fat and their insulin has spiked. In this study of these 2 milkshakes, the researcher gave participants the same milkshake. The researcher gave participants 2 milkshakes and told them that they were different. This one's high protein, this one's healthy, this one's high calories, and this one's unhealthy. And when the participant drank the milkshake, that's exactly what happened in their body. The low calorie one affected their body in that way. The high calorie, high sugar one affected their body in that way. And it was the same milkshake. Your body will literally process nutrition differently based on your beliefs. That is inconceivable to us. Seeing that data, seeing these studies, then there's more and more about them, will literally make your jaw drop and make you think that's literally impossible. That is physically impossible that someone could ingest energy, calories, and it does not affect them in the way that it should just because they believe it differently. That's supposed to be physically impossible, and yet that's what happens with the power of belief. If your body through the power of belief, can literally negate calories and insulin and everything. If your body can literally change the nutrition of something that you eat through just the power of belief, are you telling me that with the power of belief, you wouldn't be able to just be a little bit more productive? That you wouldn't be able to just eat cleaner if you just convince yourself, yep, I'm an athlete, I don't eat that shit anymore, I'm an athlete now. Yep, I'm productive, I don't procrastinate anymore, procrastinating's for Jeffries, I'm not a Jeffrey, I'm Adonis. You don't realize how powerful the power of belief actually is.